On this week's episode,
Promises from the Love Chapter. He's Kevin.
she's Robyn.
And we're the Schwobs.
Promises from the Love Chapter.
So, for those of you who don't know, the love chapter that we're talking about is in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's in 1 Corinthians.
Yep.
As 1 Corinthians 13.
13. Lucky 13.
I always thought so, but I'm not superstitious, especially with having the 13th as my birthday number. So,
this is true.
But we're not talking about me for once.
No, not a bit.
We were talking about love.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just start out by reading
1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13, starting at verse 4.
Okay.
Love is patient, love is kind.
Mm-hmm.
It is not jealous, love does not brag, and is not arrogant. Love does not act unbecomingly, it does not seek its own, it is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. And that's to verse 8, but just the first line in verse 8.
Right.
So, love. Did you know there are more than one type of love?
Yeah.
So we have the love that we feel when we first find someone we really like. Lust. It's not
Head
love.
over heels.
It's lust.
Yep.
And then there's the love, which is agape love, which is unfailing, hardworking love. It's actually the love that is being talked about in 1 Corinthians.
Unconditional.
Unconditional love.
Yes.
Love always hopes. It always trusts. It always protects. How, where we go wrong, I believe, in today's society, why there are so many marriages that fall apart, is we think that the love of lust is where we're supposed to be. I'm not in love with him anymore.
Right.
I've heard that many times.
Yeah.
I don't love him. I love him, but I don't always like him. There have been many days when I've
Very
wanted
much so.
to, for lack of better term, kill you, and vice versa. Many days when you drive me absolutely insane. Yeah, you. I can think of one. It happened about an hour ago. Kevin's not good at communicating. I over-communicate. He under-communicates. It drives me crazy. I probably drive him crazy with my over-communicating. I don't know. He's also a pacifist, so he doesn't tell me when I'm driving him crazy. Unlike me, who doesn't mind conflict, I tell him always when he's driving me crazy. And so if we were going by that, we wouldn't be together, especially after our 10 years of barely dealing with each other. But
And wanting to kill each other. Well, and the thing is that in any marriage, you always balance each other out. But you've got to continually work at improving. I mean,
Yes. Yeah, some things just came to me. Okay, God just said.
of course.
To break it down. Mm-hmm. So love is patient. What does it mean to be patient? People don't ever ask for patience. Just saying.
She knows from experience.
I do. But I have to be patient with him daily. Love is patient. It does not. I could be more patient. I really could.
Anybody could be more patient.
But,
you and I both. I mean,
but it's like this situation, and I won't go into the situation itself, but I could have been more patient with you as you were trying to explain why you said or why you didn't say. But we need to be patient. Love takes on the understanding of patience. Love is kind. Hello. I don't think I have to explain.
No.
Kindness. That means you're kind to each other.
Well, and a lot of what we're talking about goes hand in hand. Patience, kindness. They kind of go hand in hand.
How do you... Okay, I disagree with this, so...
Well, okay.
Bear with us while we discuss this on air to you. So why do you say that? I want to know your reasoning behind it. Because patience and kindness to me are two different things. I can be impatient, but I can still be kind.
Well, this is true. Okay.
Like, you're not ready in time for me to leave. I can be impatient, but I'm kind because I don't leave without you.
Okay, I see that.
All right. Now that we got that taken care of, and once again I win.
Moving on.
Love is not jealous.
No. And...
Okay, I just thought of something.
Ooh, okay.
Where jealousy is concerned. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just concern of jealousy being jealous of the opposite sex. Okay? Your wife's talking to this good-looking guy and you become jealous of him. Mm-hmm. Dude, if she or he, because your husband's talking to a good-looking girl and you become jealous of him, of her, if they really honor what they put on this finger, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
And if they've done nothing to provoke jealousy in the past, you're good. But there's another kind of jealousy that you're guilty of.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Jealousy of your child.
Mm.
Now, he's not anymore. But there was a time when all my energy, especially when they're little, all your energy, all your time as a mother goes into your little children. He was very jealous.
And I didn't see it that way. And I'm not saying that I wasn't jealous, but I just didn't see it that way.
You saw it as time being taken away from you.
Well, yeah, and
that's jealous, honey.
Yeah. I'm just saying that at the time I didn't see that.
Right, and I understand that. What I'm saying though is it's not just in the way we look at it.
Right.
It can be jealous of the person's job. It can be jealous of how the person connects with people. If you have an extrovert and an introvert, and the extrovert's always out at parties, you guys go to the parties together, but the extrovert's going around the room talking to everyone and leaves you by yourself sitting at the table with 5 strangers.
Right.
There may be jealousy. Why is it that she gets to, I don't know, because we're both introvert, extroverts, so we're a little bit of both.
We are.
But I'm just saying there's more than just that one type of jealousy, and we have to be aware that we can be jealous of a job because the job takes more time than you believe it should.
Right.
And that kind of stuff.
One thing that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but
You're
I
wrong.
think, well, of course I am, that you were jealous of when we first moved down here, down to Noonan. You had to be full-fledged into your job. And, I was able to make connections and friendships down here where you didn't have time.
Yeah, that's
And
another kind of.
I think that was one thing you were jealous of for a little bit.
Yeah. I think I was more annoyed than jealous.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it could go into jealousy. I'm not going to say. Okay, here's two good ones. Love does not brag and is not arrogant.
Yeah.
Okay? And in a marriage that can look, okay, while I was working at Sky Zone, he was home. He did not work. That's the reason we moved down to Noonan, is because we both needed a job. And I was offered a full-time job. I did not brag that I had a job.
No.
In fact, there are times I wish I didn't have a job.
And I think for me, I was jealous to a point that you were earning the income. Not that she shouldn't earn the income, but it was.
Okay, if you haven't gotten it by now, we are not a typical family. We've done things we needed to do how we needed to do it because there's situations in our family, like you and your brain
Dynamics
that makes it so that I had to be the breadwinner at one point. God blessed us in a whole different way so that I can do what I've been called to do, which is my writing. But as a man, he was jealous of the fact that, wait, I'm the breadwinner. I'm supposed to. I think you were a little envious.
A lot of it was pride.
Yeah.
Definitely pride.
God says that love isn't prideful, by the way.
No. And, granted, I definitely see that now, but this was in that time frame where I was really struggling. And in a lot of different ways. And that, unfortunately, was a key component at that point.
I think the next verse 5, love does not act unbecoming. It does not seek its own. It is not provoked. Does not take into account a wrong suffered. So I think that's the one that kind of resonates where we were for so long,
Right.
is because you were acting unbecoming. You had attitude up the wazoo.
Oh, I did.
You were, for lack of a better word, pity party.
Big time. Yeah.
You provoked a lot of anger in me.
I did. And,
And I counted every record wrong.
And, these are things that couples go through when their priorities are not where they need to be. And I think
part of that is, you've heard me say, he's done, he's done. Understand that I said, and I kept record of wrong. Okay? That was my biggest thing, is I checked every time we had an argument. Bing, 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 bing. New one. Okay, we're arguing again. Okay, let me go to the top of the list. Bing, 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 bing.
And the ones at the bottom,
at it.
Just in the event you forgot this point.
Yeah. where I'm going with this is we're not perfect. No one's perfect. You hear that all the time, but no one's perfect. Here's the thing. I kept record of wrong because I was angry with doing it all. He was in such a bad place that he ignored our son. He ignored me. He ignored life.
The way that I tell people now is I checked out. I'm mentally checked out. I physically checked out. I emotionally checked out. And contrary to what Motel 6 says, the light was not on. And I'm not saying that to say that I was stupid, but no, I was not there. I may have been physically there, but I was not there. And it's because I was in denial, huge denial, and you just can't be.
No, and I'm going to skip over right now. Well, I'm going to say it, but I'm going to skip over it because I feel does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. I think we've kind of dealt with that.
Yeah.
But bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. In a marriage, these are things you have to go through. And we hear this all the time. Okay. And I'm not trying to downplay it or make it a cliche, but I really felt the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, God is love. Jesus was love. Jesus showed love. Jesus, though he was harsh at times, and all depending on who it was and what was going on, but God showed love to his disciples, to the tax collectors, to the sinners, and where he didn't show love was to the hypocrites. And I don't want to, get into all that. That's not my point. My point is that we need to be like Christ to our spouse.
And that means showing love even if you want to kill them. Showing love, and you had to do this, and I'm glad you did it. You have to show tough love.
There are times when you have to
your
be
spouse.
honest with your spouse. Honesty. If you put on blinders and just say it's just what he is, there are things I love. Notice the word loved. About Kevin when we first started dating that drive me crazy now. There are things Kevin loved about me, like my sarcasm and my foolishness and my goofiness.
My favorite quality of yours.
But when we first got together, there were things like that he thought were cute. Now when I get into bed and go from corner to corner so he can't get in, he doesn't think they're so cute anymore. He loves me. He doesn't think I'm so cute anymore. So things that we thought were cute when we first got together kind of grate on our nerves sometimes these days.
Well, and that happens that's just life.
Well,
if you think about it.
I think if we took the same, well, no, because I don't. Just because they're blood doesn't mean I have to deal with them. Never mind, that one doesn't work. Love my family. But I think we need to take our vows seriously. And if you're gonna sit there and go for better or worse, in sickness and health, in good times and bad times, forsaking each other till death do us part, that's love. That's a new kind of love, and keeping those vows. And I think a lot of how, I love what my pastor says. Our pastor has said many times we've been married. Now, we haven't been married as long as them, so ago. We've been married for 24 years. Mm-hmm. And there are some days I don't like him at all. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. But I love him. Mm-hmm. And I need to show that love by protecting him from others. Mm-hmm. Love protects. And that's from the rumors from, okay, I can make fun of my husband. I can give my husband a hard time. I can put my husband in a goofiness, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't you dare do it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I'll get up in your face. Mm-hmm. Because that's my husband, and you ain't gonna treat him that way. You aren't gonna look down on him. You aren't gonna be disrespectful to him. I can goof off with him because he's my husband.
Right.
The other day, perfect example. Mm-hmm. Of course, our pastor gets away with a lot, but
we have a special relationship.
We were joking with him, you know, and something about Michael Jackson, and you said you can't do the moonwalk. Now, if anyone else had said, I'd like to see that, I would have said, watch it. But coming from me, I'm like, that would be cool. I could get to laugh at you, dear. He goes, love you.
Oh, that's what it was. He said, Kevin, just so that you're aware, we're not laughing
at you. We're laughing with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I go,
and
I go,
right, yeah, right.
No, you know me better than that. I'm laughing at you. But if he had, and we were just joking around, but if he had done the moonwalk and had fallen and others had laughed in a mean way without checking to make sure he was okay first, I would have been on him. Mm-hmm. I would have been on him. You know, so here's another example of me not being very loving, okay? I'm going to show both sides. Mm-hmm. Anyone who knows my husband knows that my husband has an issue where he can't see peripheral on his peripheral on his left side.
Mm-hmm. If I'm looking right at you, I can't see her.
So I can make faces. We were walking back after dropping off our rental. Mm-hmm. And he was going to step around something, and I was ahead of him. And I turned back, and he almost stepped out in front of a vehicle because he did not turn to look. Knowing he has this problem, he doesn't always remember that he needs to be more diligent. Mm-hmm. And I was not. Anyone who was watching us knew that I was not a happy camper. Okay, I grabbed him and yanked him. And my face was... There was no love there. There was annoyance. Mm-hmm. And I had to start praying, Lord, why am I so annoyed with him? Why? Well, he never learned how to... He knows he has the issue, but he never learned how to compensate for the issue. He wasn't taught because people loved him enough to take care of him. Mm-hmm. He wasn't taught how to go, wait a minute, I can't see, so I have to stop and actually turn to make sure nothing's there before I walk. And so we were walking at a church and going somewhere, and someone was coming straight at him, and he walked into that person because it was on his left hand side, trying to avoid another person. He didn't even think to check to make sure there was no one there. So I had to yank him again. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. I should not be getting frustrated with him at these things because it's something he wasn't taught to deal with.
But it's something that you are helping me to be more aware of.
Okay, but I could do it without the attitude, and y'all heard it here. It's even on tape for you, dear. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And understand, I will still deny it, okay? Because he's the one that will show me. You have it on tape. Episode so-and-so has it right there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I also said right out of it afterwards, I'll deny it. That's love for you people. That's love. All right.
And that's love that you just don't trade. You really and truly don't.
You guys, over the last so many episodes that I don't even know what.
No, we're good. This is number 90.
Okay, so over the last 89, now 90 episodes, you have seen me be goofy. You've seen me be sarcastic. Y'all, what you see here is what he gets 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm not different. I've just admitted to y'all some things I do so well. And that I'm not always best at, you know?
Well, and something that marriage is two imperfect people.
And
You know?
just don't open their closets because all the skeletons will come falling out.
And, another part of protection is being that safe haven for your spouse. It is not always physical protection. It's emotional protection. It's, being there, hearing somebody out, being that shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
No matter how, she may be having the roughest day. Okay. Let her talk it out. Let her cry it out. Let her yell it out. Do whatever you have to do.
So that reminds me. And my son called me on it.
The day you guys came home from grocery shopping.
So we came home and I was in a foul mood because of something someone else did. Something that someone else and Kevin,
the email you got, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
It was an email and Kev said something and I went off on him.
What happened is I bumped into you by accident.
Okay. And
I was bringing groceries in.
And I went off on him. I went off.
And I'm sitting there going, what did I do?
And Ken goes, Mom. And I look at him and goes, he's not the reason you're mad. I'm like, and we explained what was going on because Kenny was there when the whole thing happened and everything like that. But some days, okay, it's not right to take out your anger and frustration on your spouse when it's not your spouse's fault. However, they're supposed to love you anyway. And they're the ones that know you the best or should know you the best. And should forgive the easiest. So, and he does. He's really good at that. I'm
forgiving
blessed.
Or forgetting?
Both. And so sometimes, you have that sibling that you're like, well, he can take your spouse can too. They can take your abuse. Not that you're supposed to give it. I'm coming from experience because I do, but.
Well, and fortunately for you, I can take a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And bounce it off.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for that because I'm a spitfire, people. I know you haven't figured that out yet. Well, there you go.
The thing that just hit me, the wonderful soundtrack of Top Gun, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That would be my wife. But part of protection is being able to shield the flames that come when that spouse is angry. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking being that punching bag.
And man, if I got the bruises to show for it.
He does not.
Not physical by a long shot.
I make
no.
sure the pillows are nice and soft when I hit them with it. But sometimes you have to be that punching bag for your spouse to help them through some difficult times. Guys, love is a lot of things. Love is trust. It protects. It hopes. It dreams with your spouse. Mm-hmm. It never fails. It is there to do all the things that Christ did for us.
And when you are able to do all of these things, your marriage is going to preserve.
And it's going to flourish.
Mm-hmm. And that's the season that we're in now, is that we can, even when we have conflict, even when we have issues that arise, because we have gone through those rough times, those rough patches, we are able to deal with those issues a lot easier.
And we're able to see that love never fails no matter what's going on.
Yes, indeed.
If you've been enjoying our podcast, remember to
like,
share,
and subscribe.
Until next time.
Thanks for hopping on.